Hi, you guys. Okay, we'll be solving example 2. Again, this is just to kind of prepare you for what is to come. You normally would not solve a quadratic this way, so just keep that in mind. This will be very helpful when I teach you how to solve by completing the square. So just know that and just kind of follow along with what we're doing. Okay, so again, what we're going to do is we're going to factor the left side of the equation, and the goal is this should end up being a perfect square trinomial, which means after we factor, we should get a repeating factor. Like I should get the same thing times the same thing, which means I can rewrite it as the binomial squared. And then since we have a square in our problem, we're going to finish solving by using the square root property, which means we're going to be taking the square root of both sides of the equation. Okay, well let's start factoring. So, since I have 3 terms in a quadratic, that means that I'm going to be solving using general factoring, which I teach that to you by sliding and dividing. So my A term, I don't see one, which means there's secretly a 1 in front. So A is 1, B is going to be 10, and C is going to be 25. Okay, so let's start sliding and dividing. So I'm going to slide A to C. So 1 times 25 is 25. Don't forget, it is called slide and divide. So slide by A, and then later on I'm going to divide by the A, which A is 1. Okay, so I want to find 2 numbers that multiply to be AC and will add to be B. Okay, so I want to come up with 2 numbers that multiply to be 25 and will also add to be 10. So let's see here. Well, I know that 1 and 25 multiply to be 25. Let's see if that works. So again, you guys, I end up with a positive number when I'm multiplying, so I need a positive and a positive that will multiply to be a positive, or a negative times a negative will multiply to equal a positive. Okay, and since I'm trying to add to equal a positive number, that means I need 2 positive numbers. So all these numbers should be positive. So let's see if 1 and 25 work. So 1 times 25 is 25, but 1 plus 25 is definitely not 10. That's 26. So that doesn't work. Nope. Okay, something else that multiplies to be 25. Let's see. You guys always know the answer to this one. Yeah, I think that's going to work. You guys normally know the answer. So 5 and 5. Let's try that. So 5 times 5 equals 25. And 5 times 5, or 5 plus 5, will equal 10. So guess what, you guys? It works out. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to bring these numbers on down. Bring it on down. So I'm going to have x plus 5 and x plus 5. Because I have 2 positive 5s. Okay, let's simplify these down. So 5 over 1 will be a positive 5, so plus 5. And 5 over 1 will also be a positive 5. And look at that, you guys. I have 2 x plus 5s. I have x plus 5 times x plus 5. So since I have 2 x plus 5s, that means I can rewrite this as x plus 5 squared. I can rewrite this as a binomial squared. So if you guys see, this is a perfect square trinomial, because after we factored, we ended up with the same thing twice. So I can rewrite it as a perfect square. Yes. Okay, and now that I have a squared in my equation, the way that I'm going to solve for x is by doing the inverse, or the opposite of a squared, which is by taking the square roots. Okay, so let's solve for x, and I'm going to start by square rooting that thing on both sides. Let's square root. Okay, so the square root will cancel out the squared, so I'm going to be left with x plus 5 equals, now don't forget, you guys, when you square root both sides of an equation, what will appear on the other side? A plus or minus will appear. Holy hot dog. Okay, and then the square root of 36 is 6. Okay, and let's solve this thing for x. So how you move a positive 5 to the other side is by subtracting it on both sides. Okay, which 5 minus 5 will cancel and turn to 0. Okay, for right now, I'm not going to combine these two. I'm going to leave the plus or minus alone. Okay, so how I'm going to write this, which I'm going to bring this up here because I'm out of space like normal. I'm going to say x equals, again, you guys, don't forget, usually we put the plus or minus second, and then we put the other number in front of the plus or minus. Please don't freeze on me, screen. Okay, good. Okay. So I'm going to put this -5 first, and then the plus or minus part second. So plus or minus 6. Okay? And I'm just going to solve for x. So one time I'm going to have x equals -5 plus 6. And then one time I'm going to have x equals -5. And then this time it'll be -6. Okay, let's see what we get. So -5 plus 6, well, -5 plus 6 is 1, so x could be 1, or x could equal -5 minus 6 more is -11. So those would be my two answers. So these are my zeros, my roots, my x-intercepts, or my solutions. Nice work, everyone.